The Aztec Empire emerged in the early 1300s as a small band of nomadic people known as the Mexica arrived in the Valley of Mexico. Establishing their capital of Tenochtitlan in 1325 on a swampy island, the Aztecs began reclaiming land from the lakes using ingenious engineering. They built walkways, aqueducts, canals, and expanded the island city on a massive scale. How did the Aztecs manage such monumental construction and urban planning? They used chinampas, artificial islands formed by staking out crops on the lakebed. These floating gardens provided vital food and made Tenochtitlan a bustling metropolis. The Aztecs also formed alliances with neighboring city-states like Texcoco and Tlacopan. Together, they forged the Triple Alliance to dominate the Valley of Mexico. Using military strength, diplomacy, and intermarriage with local elite, the Triple Alliance gained resources and power. Within 200 years, the Aztec Empire expanded across Mesoamerica. The empire was divided into 38 provinces, ruled by governors, and united by roads. How were the Aztecs able to expand so swiftly and control their massive territory? Military expansion and harsh rule over conquered peoples played a key role. Aztec warriors wore fierce costumes and specialized equipment to intimidate enemies. Using obsidian swords, clubs embedded with rocks, and atlatls to hurl darts, Aztec soldiers were a formidable force. The empire also ruthlessly suppressed revolts by demanding tributes and slaves from defeated towns. At its peak in the early 1500s, the Aztec Empire encompassed over 80,000 square miles. Mexica influence spread from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean. Their capital, Tenochtitlan, was one of the largest cities in the world with over 200,000 inhabitants. The Aztec civilization rose from humble roots to forge an enormous empire in a short 200 years through ingenious engineering, political alliances, and sheer military might. Did you know that the Aztec Empire was the largest in America in the early 1500s at its peak, with an estimated population of 5 to 6 million people? Tell me in the comments section if you knew that in advance. Fascinating. At its peak, the thriving island capital of Tenochtitlan astonished Spanish conquistadors with its sheer size and organization. The city was the heartbeat of the Aztec world. So, what was daily life like for its over 200,000 diverse inhabitants? Tenochtitlan was a buzzing hub of activity crisscrossed by canals. Thousands of canoes transported goods and people along the city's waterways. Aqueducts brought fresh water from the mainland into the city via bridges. Imposing temples, palaces, and plazas were backdrops to busy marketplaces. Commoners lived in crowded single-room dwellings made of adobe and wood. Floors were covered in reed mats for sleeping. Most people rose at dawn to begin their workday. Men farmed chinampa gardens, fished the lakes, produced crafts, or worked as porters and construction laborers. Women ground maize, wove cloth, sold wares at markets, and cared for children. At the sprawling open-air markets like Tlatelolco, tens of thousands came to buy and sell everything from foodstuffs and spices to jewelry, weapons, dyes, rubber, and luxury goods. Merchants exchanged cacao beans for goods and services. The marketplace bustled with languages from across the empire. The Aztec diet centered around maize, beans, and squash. Chili peppers, tomatoes, avocados, peanuts, amaranth, and honey were also commonplace. People of status enjoyed turkeys, rabbits, salamanders, insects, and cacao. Food could be purchased at street stalls offering tamales, stews, tortillas, tacos, and more. Education was a priority, with all children attending a school called a telpochcali. Boys learned military skills, religion, and farming, while girls wove, cooked, and managed households. As a religious capital, Tenochtitlan's immense pyramids and temples were sites of endless activity and ceremony. While commoners worked hard, nobles and priests enjoyed lavish palaces and finery. But no matter one's status, the teeming capital offered daily wonders for all Aztecs who called it home. Tenochtitlan was truly an engineering and urban marvel of activity, industry, trade, and riches, until its eventual defeat by Spanish conquistadors and their indigenous allies. Religion was deeply woven into daily life in Tenochtitlan. The Aztecs were polytheists who worshipped hundreds of gods and goddesses. Each god had their own shrine, ritual, and role. Popular gods included the rain god Tlaloc, the creator god Huitzilopochtli, and the agricultural god Sipe. Aztec religious sites were architecturally stunning. dominated by the towering pyramids and temples of the sacred precinct at the heart of Tenochtitlan. This religious complex contained 78 structures rising from the capital. The Templo Mayor was the most crucial shrine, a 100-foot-tall double pyramid dedicated to Huitzilopochtli and Tlaloc. Construction involved moving over 45,000 cubic yards of earth without wheels or beasts of burden. The Templo Mayor displayed the skulls of thousands of human sacrifices. While Aztec pyramids are famous for public religious rituals, they also had more secretive functions. The temples atop pyramids contained small interior chambers for private ceremonies, reserved for nobles and priests. Here, mysterious rituals with sacred plants and mushrooms likely took place. Pyramids were also astronomical tools. The Templo Mayor itself aligned precisely with the sunrise on the date of Huitzilopochtli's birth. Other pyramids were orientated to solar events like equinoxes and solstices. Omens and messages could be read in the skies from the high vantage point of pyramids. In addition to temples, pyramids contained buried offerings and graves. Sacred bundles containing carved shells, corals, and idols have been found buried within the Templo Mayor. Other pyramids entombed high-ranking individuals like kings and nobles in lavish crypts filled with fine jewelry. A tunnel system runs beneath the pyramids, perhaps representing the Aztec underworld. In 2015, archaeologists using radar discovered a previously unknown king's tomb with a vaulted roof beneath the Pyramid of the Plumed Serpent in Teotihuacan. Such discoveries hint at secrets still hidden deep in unexcavated tunnels. The functions of some temple rooms remain unknown, like the so-called Room of the Eagles within the Templo Mayor. Some contained sacred trees, skulls, sculptures, or relics whose meaning is still being deciphered. After centuries, Aztec pyramids continue to guard their mysteries and reveal their astronomical, ritual, and buried secrets slowly. Sacrifice was central to Aztec spirituality. Priests performed daily sacrifices of flowers, jewelry, animals, and their own blood. But human sacrifice was considered the most precious offering to the gods. Victims had their hearts cut out by obsidian blades in front of crowds at the pyramid-top temples. Sacrifices took place regularly, along with religious festivals. The 12-day flaying of men ceremony involved wearing the skins of sacrificial victims to honor Xipe. In the month of Toxcatl, an impersonator of Tezcatlipoca was sacrificed and eaten in ritual cannibalism. The Aztecs also had ceremonies for harvests, trade, burial, and events like the beginning of a new 52-year calendar cycle. With hundreds of gods and frequent public rituals, religion was inseparable from everyday life for the Aztecs and could be witnessed daily in Tenochtitlan. The Aztec language, Nahuatl, was very metaphorical, with phrases like smoking shields meaning warfare. Aztec poetry used vivid imagery and themes of mortality and nature. Their writing system used pictograms to represent words or syllables. Aztec advances included rubber, medicinal herbs, compulsory education, botanical gardens, zoos, team sports, and more. Their calendar system of 2 interlocking cycles was more accurate than European calendars. Common Aztec foods like avocados, chocolate, maize, beans, chilies, squash, vanilla, and tomatoes were unknown in Europe before contact. However, smallpox devastated Aztec populations lacking immunity. Aztec cities had public toilets, plumbing, steam baths, fountains, and irrigation. Laws banned theft, murder, and injustice. But crimes like adultery were severely punished through stoning or hanging. The last Aztec emperor, Moctezuma II, initially believed Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés was the god Quetzalcoatl. This hesitation cost him dearly during the Spaniards' brutal conquest. In summary, the Aztecs created towering pyramids, innovative agriculture, a complex culture, and an extensive empire in just 200 years. However, their rapid growth ultimately could not withstand advanced Spanish steel and horses. The Aztec civilization was destroyed, yet their cultural legacy and ruins live on. In this video, we have delved into the rise of the Aztecs, daily life in their capital, pyramids, religion, and remarkable history. See you next time,